The views expressed on the following broadcasts do not necessarily reflect those of KHLT, Take 12 Radio, or our affiliates. The opinions on this show should not be considered as medical, psychological, or professional advice.
That's right.
And are those of the host, co-host, and guest. Take 12 Radio and KHLT Recovery Broadcasting are not affiliated with any particular 12-step fellowship.
Here we go!
When the static of life fills your brain and the world seems a little too insane, just twist that dial, don't hesitate. There's a haven where good vibes await. Tune in and Take 12 for some joy and cheer. It's the sound of hope coming in crystal clear. Recovery talk and music so grand, a beacon of light, a helping hand.
Well, greetings one and all, and welcome to another fine episode of the world's original and oldest recovery talk and recovery music radio station and podcast, the Take 12 Recovery Radio Show, with co-hosts from Colorado and TrudgingTogether.org, Mr. Dion Miller. From Huntington Beach, California, the very suspicious, also from Came to Leave Recovery, Mr. Roger McDermott, with his buddy Justin in tow. Of course, the Take 12 Recovery Radio Make-Believe Orchestra. There's Dustin. There's Justin with a J, waving. Yes, we got some stuff to talk about this week. We're going to have fun with this. We're going to put some people in their place, by golly, by George. And then we're going to talk about service work beyond your fellowship. All here at Take12Radio.com on your internet dial. I almost blew myself up there without even...
It was close.
Thinking. Roger's on the road. Roger, you are headed where, buddy?
Flagstaff, Arizona.
He's heading to Flagstaff. So what is in... Oh, doing the Grand Canyon. Okay, so Flagstaff, Arizona. What's in Flagstaff, Arizona, other than just more beautiful countryside?
If I tell you, I'll have to kill you.
Okay.
It's beautiful. Yeah. It's very high elevation. It's like 7,000 feet, 6,000, 6,900, I think. It's beautiful. There's elk around and all kinds of neat stuff. I can't tell you what we're doing tonight because it's a surprise for Justin.
Don't ruin the surprise for me. Dang.
Okay. So, Justin, you're celebrating some sober time.
That's correct. I am celebrating 4 years today, this day, April 20th, 2026.
Ooh. And Dion, you just celebrated some sober time as well.
Yeah, last Thursday I had 10 years of continuous sobriety.
So you both get the cowbell.
Or cowbell.
Well, congratulations to both of you.
Thanks, brother.
That's an amazing stuff. Job well done, guys. Job well done. Okay, a little Montgomery Gentry there to launch us forth at the beginning of the show. I don't give a darn what you think about me or something like that. I don't know the name of the song, but anyway, I liked it. So anyway, we hit Montgomery up. I also like his name, Montgomery. You know what I'm saying? What a great name.
Montgomery.
Monty for short. Oh, that just happens to be my name. And look what Dion is wearing. He's wearing his Monty Man pin.
Right, I got my Monty pin.
Yeah, is Roger wearing his?
No.
Evidently not.
I am not. I got it, though. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I put it in the mail the very same day because you were so demanding.
More stickers.
Oh, more stickers.
I'm going to give them out to some of my listeners.
Okay. Well, we're going to have to send Justin. We're going to have to send Justin some swag. So
I'll get you his address. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, let's do that. We'll send him some swag.
Yeah, we got to swag him up.
We put that on
for your
air
birthday.
so that.
Yeah.
Swag. Yeah, and we'll send him a Take 12 Recovery Radio coffee mug. And by the way, listeners, if you would like a Take 12 Recovery Radio coffee mug and some Take 12 Recovery Radio swag, email me at take12radio, that's T-A-K-E, the number 12 radio, at comcast.net, and say, I want my swag. And if you are the first email, you're going to get some free swag. And I'm not going to tell you what it all is, but it's a bunch of goodies. Here's the thing. A lot of people think, well, if I send it now, I'm not going to be the first one. Obviously, you don't know that. Lots of people say that, and then they don't send it in, and then nobody wins, see? So send it in. Even if you're not watching or listening to this show on the day that it posts, send it in anyway. I might slip you some swag anyway, no matter what. You just don't know. So take 12 radio at comcast.net and say, I want my swag, and maybe you'll get some. Roger's camera just went dark. Roger, where are you?
I can see mine fine. Oh.
Yeah, we can't see yours at all.
How about
there
now?
We go. Now you're back. Now you're back.
I don't know why it went dark.
I don't either. Hey, so listen, before we even get to the topic, I suspect we may be talking about what's coming up next longer than the topic. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if we'll even get to the topic.
Maybe.
All right. So we got this right now. Ba-ba-da-bum. Beam.
It's time to open up the Take 12 Recovery Radio mailbag. We want to read your mail. Should we succeed or fail? Let's open up the cards, letters, and comments from this holy grail.
Yes, indeedy. Okay, so last week the topic was very interesting. It was higher power, lower power. And we were talking about, we answered some emails. Some folks were wondering because they had talked about the devil in an AA meeting. Somebody shut them down. Is that a rule? We can't talk about the devil. There were some other emails and comments about that as well. And Roger made the following statement. We're going to play the sound clip for you. Here's Roger on the topic of, why don't you want to talk about God? Why don't you want to talk about the devil? Listen to this.
Why don't you want to talk about the devil? Why don't you want to talk about God? What are you afraid of? Open-mindedness, willingness are the keys to our program. And you said, we always state, are you willing to go to any lengths to stay sober? Yes, but I'm not going to talk about God, and I'm not going to talk about the devil. Well, then you're not willing to go to any lengths to stay sober.
Yeah.
So it's like goofy. It's all self-centeredness, and it's like, whatever, dude.
Go heal.
Yeah. It's like there was no problem when you were on the street corner buying dope or, finding sex or buying booze and running away from family, friends, and loved ones and, not doing what the company that you work for wanted us to do. But we don't want to talk about the source of evil. Really?
Right.
Why? Why don't you want to talk about the devil? Why don't you want to talk about God?
Okay, so that was Roger's remarks, to which we got an interesting response. The gentleman that sent this, his handle is Sexton Space, or Sexton's Pace. I'm not sure. I think it's Sexton Space. Okay, so we're going to listen to what he had to say about what Roger had to say, and then we'll come back and unpack it. Here's Sexton Space.
So this older gentleman, this old timer, is saying that if you are not willing to talk about God and the devil, that you are not willing to go to any lengths to get sober, and thus you are not willing, and that you are selfish and self-centered. Now, if you are someone who believes in God and you're in submittance to God, this is not the way that you behave. You do not dictate what other people have to do, and you do not define other people based on your perspective and your understanding. This is oppressive, this is coercive, this is manipulative, this is abusive, this is unacceptable. But this behavior is commonplace within the cult of AA. Now let's look at what does it mean, any lengths within the cult of AA? It means, are you willing to attack your intuition, invalidate your discernment, to become subservient, to be exploited for free labor, to adopt a perspective based in pseudoscience, pseudopsychology, and superstition? Are you willing to accidentally, inadvertently harm people based on your bias in your selfishness, in your attempts at advocacy. That's what all of this means. Are you willing to become performative? Are you willing to learn the script and to learn to parrot the sloganese? That's what it's encompassing, all right? Now, to then invalidate a host of options that are available out there, like the Sinclair method, which is really effective, 70+% efficacy at creating pharmacological extinction, which is people losing the desire to drink alcohol. People who have severe alcohol use disorder are moderating after consuming this medication, naltrexone, with this protocol. See, but this invalidates the threefold disease within the cult, specifically the physical allergy. It completely invalidates their whole dogmatic, antiquated belief system. And so that's why they will continue to invalidate it, silence it, and attack it. So yeah, this isn't just, some older guy sharing his opinion. This is someone whom has definitely harmed people over the years, yet will not take accountability for that, because within the cult of AA, accountability is just a performative term. It's not something that they engage in when it comes to their own conduct as sponsors. So this is a huge problem, and it's unacceptable, and these gentlemen will be held accountable for this, and that's not my job. Okay, goodbye.
Okay, goodbye. So when he's talking at the very end, I just want to go, ooh, Mufasa. Say it again, Mufasa.
Mufasa.
It's like, okay, so clearly we're being punked, right? We got to be being punked. All right, let's unpack this a little bit. Okay, probably the funniest part of this whole dialogue is right at the beginning. He says, "Now, if you are someone who believes in God and you're in submittance to God, this is not the way that you behave." This is not the way that who behaves? Who? Us? Or do you mean you? Okay, he says, this is not the way you behave. And this is what he says. This is his directive. You do not dictate what other people have to do. Okay, there's two things going on here. If he does believe in God, he just contradicted himself, because he's getting ready to tell us what to do. So I'm assuming he does not believe in God, which is fine. It doesn't bother me. Yeah. Because if he does believe in God, then he's just one big contradiction. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt that he is a non-believer. He says, you do not dictate what other people do, and you do not define other people based on your perspective and your understanding, which is what he's doing right now. This is oppressive. This is coercive. This is manipulative. I can't help but laugh. This is abusive. This is unacceptable. But this behavior is commonplace within the cult of AA. Now let's look at what does it mean, any links within the cult of AA. So let's stop for a second. And let's look at the definition of cult, because that's important, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I've got two sources here. Merriam-Webster's says this: a group, such as an organization or religious sect, that tenets and practices regarded as coercive, insular, and dangerous. Great devotion to a person, idea, object, movement, or work, such as a film or book. A system of religious beliefs and rituals. Okay, that's Merriam-Webster's. Now, dictionary.com says a cult is a particular system of religious worship, especially with reference to its rites and ceremonies. Number two, an instance of great veneration of a person, ideal, or thing, especially as manifested by a body of admirers. And this one, a religion or sect considered to be false, unorthodox, or extremist, with members often living outside of conventional society under the direction of a charismatic leader. Okay, if you go by these definitions, right, one could say just about any gathering of people that admires an idea or a person is a cult.
Yeah.
If you go
Like
by
the
these
Sinclair
definitions, right?
Yeah.
So Rotary Club's a cult, Boy Scouts of America is a cult, Alcoholics Anonymous is a cult, Celebrate Recovery is a cult. A cult, a cult, a cult, a cult, a cult, a cult. Woohoo! I'm in a cult, and I'm excited.
Mufasa.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. So by those definitions, he may be right.
Yeah, it might be.
Now let's be honest. Most of us, most people with any common sense, really define a cult as more of the definition that says extremists with members often living outside of conventional society under the direction of a charismatic leader. Usually that's what we're thinking of. Okay, so Alcoholics Anonymous, their charismatic leaders are dead. Just saying. No one is a leader. In fact, let's read what Alcoholics Anonymous is. This is called the AA Preamble. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other so that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement, it's a cult, right? The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. In other words, the only requirement is that you change your thinking about your relationship with alcohol. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics achieve sobriety. Boy, sounds like a cult to me, guys. Yeah. All right, let's move on. This is oppressive, it is coercive, it is manipulative, it is abusive, it is unacceptable, but this behavior is commonplace within the cult of AA. Okay, and then he asks a question. Are you willing to attack your intuition and invalidate your discernment to become subservient, to be exploited for free labor? If you're willing to go to any lengths, you'll mow my lawn every week. Well, first of all, yes, there are sponsors out there that do that. It's rare, but they're out there, and shame on them.
Yeah, this isn't Karate Kid.
Yeah, no, we don't. The Fellowship of AA as a whole does not endorse that.
Yeah.
Are you willing to adopt a perspective based in pseudoscience, fake science, pseudopsychology, and superstition? Are you willing to accidentally, inadvertently harm people based on your bias and your selfishness and your attempts at advocacy? Yes, I am willing to harm others. Aren't you, Dion? Aren't you willing to harm others? Well, we get together every week and decide how we're going to harm other people.
Yeah. Wish you would have been at my AA meeting Saturday night and all the people that told me how much I harmed them.
Yeah, right, as they're congratulating you for your sobriety. Are you willing to become performative? Are you willing to learn the script and learn to parrot the sloganese?
There's a script?
AA's got to take a little responsibility here, because we kind of do. We kind of do see some of the parroting of things going on, but again, Boy Scouts, Rotary Club, your local synagogue or church, come on.
Sure.
That's what it's encompassing, he says. All right, now to then invalidate a host of options that are available out there, like the Sinclair method. Well, first of all, Roger never once said there weren't other ways. He never said that.
Yeah.
I don't know where this guy's going with that. The Sinclair method, which is really effective. It uses really good English here. It's really effective. And by the way, the stats that he quotes are not accurate. 70% of people efficacy at creating pharmaceutical extinction, which is, then he explains it, which is people losing the desire to drink alcohol. People who have severe alcohol use disorder. Okay, let me just stop you there.
Yep.
Alcohol use disorder does not necessarily mean alcoholism.
That's correct.
Alcohol use disorder can mean that you're a knucklehead, and when you get drunk, you do stupid drunk stuff.
Yep.
That does not make you an alcoholic. So he has no idea the definition of alcoholism. And yes, the Sinclair method may work for people that are heavy drinkers or alcohol abusers, but not alcoholics. I think that's probably
there's a big danger around the Sinclair method. Now,
there is.
I always say it wrong, but it works. It does.
Naltrexone?
Naltrexone.
Yeah.
It does work, but with what he was saying, moderate. Okay, you're not supposed to be drinking on it. That's kind of the point.
I know, right?
It takes away what we would call the obsession to drink, the wanting to drink.
The craving.
It blocks the opiate receptors is what it does. So what is going to happen? Well, you're going to get alcohol poisoning is what's going on. So when you tell somebody to go on naltrexone and moderate, and then turn around and saying things that things like, well, what you were saying is going to kill people. No, that's what's going to kill people.
Amen.
Telling people to go on the Sinclair method and then telling them to drink. It also gives you gastronomical disease, undermines treatment, and it has a psychological effect to it. Okay. So it's been around for 15 years now?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, you remember antabuse, right?
Oh yeah, this is just the upgrade to antabuse.
Right. And so there was in some states, your parole officer they couldn't require you to take antabuse, but they could require you to be obedient to the treatment center that they required you to go to. And if the treatment center said you had to take antabuse and you didn't, then you were in violation of your parole. Well, antabuse was killing people. And parole and probation had to stop requiring that because there were people that would put cologne on and break out and swell up in the hospital. And then other people could die. So he said, this invalidates the threefold disease within the cult of AA, this Sinclair method. No, it doesn't. See, he isn't describing the alcoholic anyway. He's describing the alcohol abuser, and there's a difference. He says specifically the physical allergy. It completely invalidates their whole dogmatic, antiquated belief system. Well, yeah, you're just ignorant. And so that's why they will continue to invalidate it, silence it, and attack it. Alcoholics Anonymous has no opinion on outside issues. Alcoholics Anonymous as a fellowship does not attack the Sinclair method. Now, we as individual, citizens of the U.S., we may attack it, but AA has no stance on that. Then he says, so yeah, this isn't just, some older guy. Hi, old guy. He references Roger.
Thank you very much.
Some older guy sharing his opinion. This is someone because within the cult of AA, accountability is just a performative term. It's not something that they engage in when it comes to their own conduct as sponsors. So this is a huge problem, and it's unacceptable. And then he threatens all of us. These gentlemen will be held accountable for this. And then he has a moment of clarity. Oops. And he says, that's not my job. Yeah, that was smart to say that, dude, because if you hadn't have said that, you could be in some trouble there, right?
Yeah. What do we call it? F around and find out. And I got plenty of time on my hands, Mr. Sexton Space, and I went and looked at your stuff. And you're a big talker, man. You are highly intelligent, very intelligent. But I already know that you bought your 14,000 followers because it doesn't fit a pattern. And all you do all day is attack AA. You go out there and you troll. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I would ask that you get to therapy and work on the trauma of whatever is stopping you from living a good and happy life, brother. You're clearly intelligent.
Oh, man, he's
probably help a lot of people.
He's really angry.
So, all I hear is you don't want to do the work, which is fine with us. So I'm going to end my little thing with a joke. How do you know that AA is not a cult? Because people in cults do what they're told.
I know, I love that. People in cults do what they're told. So it's usually is not a common because nobody does what they're told.
No, smart guy. I hope one day you turn it around and utilize what because you have some great skills, man. You're a
He
great
does.
talker.
He's very
Yeah.
smart.
So I
For
hope
somebody
you
who's
turn
so
that around one
smart,
day, man.
for somebody who's so smart, he clearly has not done his research.
That's what kind of got me too. Yeah, and I did notice that at the end. But if he's not going to take care of it, who is? God.
Yeah. So, Roger, what say you?
Here's what I say. First of all, I love you, brother, and you're very passionate, and you clearly are an intellectual. I'll say this. I would love to sit down and I would buy you breakfast, lunch, or dinner and have a cup of coffee or whatever you drink and have a discussion about my last 29 years and my experience in this program. Because clearly you have no idea what you're talking about. All the things that you stated are not applicable in my life. So, and I'm not part of this fellowship, which is not a cult, to harm anybody. The purpose of the program of Alcoholics Anonymous is to be of maximum service to God and to others. That doesn't sound like harming others. It's all about giving back what we've been freely given. And the other thing that I would say about your comments is that the malady that is described by Dr. Silkworth is a spiritual malady. It is not a chemical malady. It says that we straighten out psychologically, mentally, emotionally, and physically once the spiritual malady is addressed. So taking a pill doesn't do that. So God bless your whatever your program is, but you don't know what you're talking about in terms of Alcoholics Anonymous. And I'd love to be able to share my life story with you and tell you exactly what's happened in my life. And there's millions of other people that would do the same thing if you gave them the opportunity to talk to you about it. So I would say investigate the things that you state because they're not
I think he froze up there a little bit.
So
that quote we made last week, the person with an experience is never at the mercy of a person with an opinion.
Yep. It's one of my favorite lines, and I had opinions my whole life. I was a walking, talking lie and a walking, talking opinion. And today I like to talk about my experience as a direct result of the 12 steps of AA and the power of God.
Yeah.
And the fellowship of helping other people.
So Dion wanted you to repeat something. What do you want him to repeat?
The line that you just said. That we are not judged, the opinion line.
Oh, yeah. A person with an experience is never at the mercy of a person with an opinion.
That's what it was. Thank you.
Okay. So enough of Sexton Space. He'll continue to bash us, I'm sure, and bring it on.
Yeah, because I'm going to put the link after this. I'm going to put it in his comments.
Oh, yeah.
That's a
good idea.
Our rebuttal, brother.
Evidently, we're all going to be held accountable, not by him. I don't know who.
Karma will get you.
If it's
that
the podcast
who
mafia.
Who are we accountable to? Yeah, who are we accountable to? I know I'm accountable to.
Yeah, who's gonna?
Yeah, me too. Me too. Okay, so hey, so let me quickly shift to, just for the heck of it, to Justin. Justin, what do you think of all this?
Well, I'll tell you a couple of things first. The word any length that he first started on, where we talk about that, they talk about in the book of Alcoholics Anonymous has taken drastic steps. And so it says in here, we had to fearlessly face the proposition that either God is everything or else he is nothing. God either is or he isn't. What was our choice to be? Arriving at this point, we were confronted by a drastic step. And so that's going to any length, is to being willing to have this discussion about God, which is how the whole discussion from this wonderful Sexton spaceman began, was Roger using a connotation like God, which is how it starts at the beginning step when we haven't yet made our connection with our higher power, and saying, are you willing to go to any length and have this discussion, because we know that we have to rely on our connection to a higher power to be a better human being. And then, if I may, I would think that there's a chapter in the book of Alcoholics Anonymous, which I would love to be at the dinner table and hear his take with Roger about this particular chapter. The less people tolerate us, the more we withdrew from society, like life itself. As we became subjects of King Alcohol, shimmering denizens of his mad realm, the chilling vapor that is loneliness settled down. That sounds a lot like the devil's room. It thickened, ever becoming blacker. Some of us sought out sordid places, hoping to find understanding, companionship, and approval. This fine gentleman, who's quite an intellectual, is probably just looking for some companionship and approval, which he can find in the fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous. Momentarily we did. Then would come oblivion and the awful awakening to face the hideous four horsemen: terror, bewilderment, frustration, despair. Unhappy drinkers who read this page will understand. So if you drink like me, you understand. Now and then, a serious drinker being dry at the moment, this is whenever would be my experience if I tried the process that he talked about. I don't miss it at all. Feel better, work better, having a better time. As ex-proper drinkers, we smile at such a sally. We know our friend is like a boy whistling in the dark, trying to keep up his spirits. He fools himself. Inwardly, he would give anything to take a half a dozen drinks and get away with them. So if I try that process, that's me taking an attempt to see if I can drink like a gentleman. He will presently try the old game again, for he isn't happy about his sobriety. He cannot picture life without alcohol. Someday he will be unable to imagine life with alcohol or without it. Then he will know loneliness such as few do. He will be at the jumping off place. He will wish for the end. If I ever drink again, I'm going to be faced with two choices: keep drinking or end it. And at the very end of as we go on and go on and go on, it says we commence shoulder to shoulder on a common journey. That's where we're going to talk about the things that bring us together, set us apart, give us a chance, and what our connection to a higher power is. Not necessarily in the meeting do we describe our higher power, but we describe our connection to our higher power. And if Roger, who I've been in many meetings with, who has a strong connection to his higher power, which he calls God, will be happy to explain with you at the dinner table, never throws that in people's face at a meeting, because he always meets people where they are at. That's what Jesus did. And there's this thing in here that then you will know what it means to give of yourself, that others may survive and rediscover life. You will learn the full meaning of, in quotations, love thy neighbor as thyself. Now, where is that quotation from? That quotation is from the Bible, from a man named Jesus. So if we want to talk about God or not talk about God, and we reference the book club that we are, I could take the word book club over cult, because at least we're discussing a book. But the word cult is a connotation, and God is a connotation, and it invoked a great feeling and passion in this man. And the good news is that we are talking about ways that we want to recover and live a better life, and for that I love him.
Well said. Well said.
Thank you, Justin.
Amen. Amen. All right, we're going to flip the script a little bit of good news, all right? Because, hey, you know what? Sometimes we need that. I got a phone message. Now, you guys know that Take 12 Recovery Radio does several podcasts. We have the Came to Believe Recovery podcast on Wednesdays. We have Monty Man's Editorials on every other Friday. And we have a ton of recovery workshops. One of the recovery workshops is Walking Through the Big Book with Chris S. and myself. 34 one-hour workshops that you can download for fun and for free. The most comprehensive study of the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous in that kind of format to date. And I'm telling you, we went line by line. We went from the beginning of the dust jacket to the back of the dust jacket. I mean, there was no stone left unturned. Well, that was many years ago, and people are still tuning in. I got this phone call from this fine young lady. I think her name may be Gabby. This is what Gabby said. Check this out.
I just wanted to call to say, first off, thank you for the podcast. I've been listening to Chris Schroeder's all of his recordings with you, and I just love them. So I really appreciate it. And I remember hearing to say to call in and let you guys know that. So just wanted to say thank you, Monty, for that. I'm in Canton, Georgia, so I listen from here every morning, and just wanted to connect with you and say hello, and once again say thank you. So both my husband and I are recovered alcoholics, and we just we appreciate it. So I would love to stay connected and maybe even talk to you sometime. And my name is Gabby. Thanks so much. Have a nice day. Bye.
Evidently, Gabby is a member of the cult of Alcoholics Anonymous.
Welcome to the cult. Would you like some Kool-Aid?
So the truth of the matter is we get more emails. Roger cracking up. We get more emails and comments like Gabby's than people like Sexton Space, but we welcome all of them.
That's right.
You can email me at take12radio@comcast.net. Love us, hate us, we don't care. Just say something. Let's have a discussion. And and leave the Kool-Aid at home though. That would be a good idea.
Purple drink.
So Gabby, thank you so much. She listens every morning, and 22 years of doing this. I can't believe my wife said, "Yeah, they'll find you behind the microphone. You'll die behind the mic. You'll be." Yeah. We're not.
Be a skeleton and a microphone with a red hat.
Yeah, right. We're not leaving anytime soon. That's for sure. So cool. All right. We're going to close the mailbag, take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about service work beyond the fellowship. So let's close the mailbag up. And
we want to read your mail. Should we succeed or fail?
All right, listen to this. We'll be right back. Here's Matt Brown for SoberHelpline.com.
This is a resource I want you to know about. Every Monday night, there's a free Zoom call that specifically is for families who are struggling with a loved one's addiction. No fluff, no sales pitch, just straightforward, honest answers from an interventionist with over 20 years in practice. That's the kind of access that used to cost a lot of money to get, and this is free. The site also has a treatment finder that will help you navigate the overwhelming world of finding treatment options, plus additional education and support tools for families at every stage of this journey. Check it out at SoberHelpline.com.
Hey, this is Ricky Bird, and you are listening to Monty Man on Take 12 Recovery Radio.
In a world that moves way too fast, Stay Stopped is a brand with purpose. It's a reminder. It's that pause to reconnect, to build community through gratitude, humility, and the daily choice to grow. Because real change begins right now in our thought life. And to stay on the right path, the challenge of our life is to stay present. Stay stopped. Wear it. Live it. Visit StayStopkedBrand.com. That's StayStopkedBrand.com.
Now back to our show.
Welcome back. I don't know what that's all about. I'm having trouble unmuting Roger's mic, and I'm not sure why. Maybe he's not supposed to talk. Let me try it again.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
There we go. I got it. Yep,
Justin's
gotcha.
on for the moment.
Yes, we can.
What did he say?
I'll be gone for a moment.
Oh, he'll be gone for a moment. Roger, he's out catching snakes again, Justin.
He's fueling up the white knight for our beautiful road
Taking
trip.
a pee break.
Oh, he paid you to say that about his van, didn't he? The White Knight. Yeah. Well, see, we have the exact same van, except for ours is the Gray Goose. And Roger likes to tease me, and I'm telling him, hey, listen, knights can't fly. So I poop in your general direction. Oh my!
In your general direction.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, so while Roger is doing whatever he's doing, service work. Okay, so it is common within the rooms of the 12-steppers, whether it's Celebrate Recovery, Alcoholics Victorious, Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, Cocaine Anonymous. There's a 12-step fellowship out there for everything. That's just a lot of work. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of work. But one of the things, and let's pick on AA for the time being, because it is the mothership. So we've referred to that a lot. And listeners, I want you to understand something. You will never hear me say that I represent any particular 12-step fellowship on this show. You'll never hear me say that I'm a member of any particular 12-step fellowship on this show. Now, I may tell you and share with you that I was at a specific meeting and heard this really good quote, or somebody shared about this and it was such a blessing, or somebody shared about that and it wasn't such a blessing. But you'll never hear me say that I'm a member of or that we represent. In fact, there's a disclaimer at the beginning of all of our shows that says we're not affiliated with any particular 12-step fellowship. So those emails that say we're breaking tradition and all that, yeah, you got to pay attention, okay? It's our public relations policy that's based on attraction rather than promotion, not our personal stories. And there's a misunderstanding about that a lot of times because people don't read what they're reading, or they don't comprehend what they're reading. But one of the things in Alcoholics Anonymous that is one of the pieces of literature, one of the famous quotes is, nothing will ensure immunity from drinking than working with another alcoholic, right? I don't know that I agree with that completely. I understand the heart behind it. I really do, because it is a lot harder. Well, first of all, when you're ungrateful, that's a red flag that you might end up going down a road that you don't want to go down. When you're helping other people, it's really hard to be ungrateful. Mm-hmm. And so it raises your gratitude levels. It helps insulates you, let's say, from returning to your substance of choice back from your old life, or behavioral addiction, whatever it might be. And so, yes, it's a powerful thing. But I think the thing that guarantees safety from going back out is a relationship with a power greater than yourself. And when we step away from that, then we have a tendency to do things our way and we get ourselves into trouble. Having said that, though, there is something very powerful to be said about working with other people that are struggling. And that is most commonly referred to as service work. And in that service work bubble, we have things as beginner oriented as pouring the coffee, used to be emptying the ashtrays, cleaning the bathrooms, getting things set up, tearing down things in meetings where you have to tear things down, chairing meetings, becoming part of the service structure. There's a great book out by Alcoholics Anonymous called Our Great Responsibility, all about service, becoming a district rep, becoming an area rep, all these things that we can do as service work. But is service work limited to what happens within the room of the 12-step fellowship, or does it go beyond that? Some would say, and I had a discussion this week with a couple of people, that it's not considered service work if you go outside of the fellowship of AA to do whatever it is you're doing for the community. What do you guys think? So let me go to Roger first. What do you think about that? That it's not considered service work unless it's within AA or NA or whatever.
I don't know where they read that. I don't read that anywhere. AA is involved with service work in the community. I mean, to be of service means to be of service wherever I go, whatever I'm doing. is to be helpful, to be kind, to be loving, to be principled, to offer someone assistance when I don't want to. That's what AA teaches us, and that takes place outside the rooms. The room is, so I love talking about this. The room is our fellowship. It's not the program. The program's in the big book, 164 pages. And we practice that outside the rooms. So if we practice it outside the rooms of the fellowship, we must be of service when we're outside the rooms. Right? That only follows.
You would think.
How do you be of service in a meeting? Tell me how you be of service in a meeting. You can be the secretary. You can make the coffee. That's part of the fellowship. Service takes place just like the steps operate outside the door of the meeting. Like my church says.
We're really having a bad connection. Your internet is really, really wonky. It's having a hard time understanding you.
I'm sorry.
I hope that's okay.
So
you were saying
service takes place outside the rooms of AA.
Dion, Roger made a statement that service work happens outside the rooms. Would you agree with that, or would you take another stand on that maybe service work happens inside the rooms too?
For me, it happens anywhere I'm at. I mean, if there's an opportunity, I'm going to take that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the principle behind step 12 is service. That's the principle.
Mm-hmm.
And we practice these principles in all of our affairs. So absolutely, it's done. Most of my service work is done outside of the rooms. We're doing it right now.
There you go.
We're not in an AA meeting.
Right.
When I 12th step somebody, I'm not in an AA meeting. Let's say I'm picking up the trash or helping a neighbor. No, it is about going outside of the rooms. I agree with Roger. The meetings is where I recharge so I can go back out into life and spread the message to be of maximum service to God and the world around me. And there's a lot of different types of service work. Absolutely. Not all of it is in AA or at the meetings. But it could be anything. As long as it's making the world a better place, I think you're probably doing service work if you're getting out of self. So I feel bad for people that just do service work at meetings because there's a lot more happiness and joy out there, man. And to be able to experience these things. So
yeah.
What about your kids and your grandkids and the people that you affect every day? They're not at your AA meetings. Meeting makers make it if they do the work.
Yeah, it's conditional. It's conditional. Yeah. They just don't make it because they made the meeting.
Exactly. But my meetings, I'll tell you now, the reason I go to meetings, that's where my friends are, and I like seeing them.
Yeah.
Now I might do some service work there, reading the big book, sharing the meeting, but my only real service at that point is sharing my experience, strength, and hope. So sharing at a meeting.
So I've heard it said before that if you've been coming around for, a good amount of time, 2-3 years, and all you're doing is opening the door, maybe not service work. Are you really serving? And being of service, not volunteerism. There's a difference. Volunteerism is, nobody else will do it, so I'll step up to the plate and fill the need, But serving somebody requires a heart and a passion for what you're doing, I believe.
Absolutely.
And so when you serve somebody, you don't just unlock the door. I'm speaking figuratively here now. You don't just unlock the door, but you hold the door open for them. You know what I mean?
And greet them.
And you greet them. You don't just make the coffee. You pour the coffee.
Pour it. Do you want do you want some sugar? Do you want some creamer? Yeah.
You make a connection.
Going a little bit further than what the norm would be.
So if you've been coming to meetings for 2 or 3 years and you're still pouring coffee and you're not doing anything else, I mean, every situation's different. And I'm not saying that what you're doing isn't valid, but you might want to consider stepping it up a little bit.
It's about getting out of our comfort zone. If you have become comfortable pouring coffee, it's probably time to take on another service position. Beyond that, if you're the one that does it every day, you're not giving other people a chance to
There
do
you
it.
go.
And now you're being selfish by thinking that you're doing service. For God's sake, start sponsoring. Let's stop. What I would consider that you're probably two-stepping. And when I don't mean the country dance, where they're just working 1 and 12, and you do see it a lot. But yeah, I mean, I think that it probably requires a little bit more action. Just like the service work that I do, I like to create service work. It's the 8th tradition. So I find out what somebody's passion is, and I create a service position for them. That's what I do. I love doing that. There's a lot in advocacy. We need all sorts of types. So
Right. Roger, you with us? Well, we don't see him or hear him, so maybe not. Yeah. So there are people that are passionately annoyed with people that engage in service work outside of the fellowship. It's weird. They're like, oh, well, they're recovery thieves, right? They came in here and got sober, and now they're going to church. I mean, I've heard people get upset. They're upset because they left AA and are going to church. They think that Jesus is all you need, just Jesus. And I'm like, oh my word, are you kidding me? It might be the best things they've ever done. Why do we, And by the way, just because they're not coming to your meeting, how do you know they're not going to meetings?
That's right. You can't make that assumption.
In
fact, I presume if I'm not seeing you anymore, that you found another meeting that
very well may have.
That's what I figure.
Have you reached out to them, or are you just whining because well, they just come in to get their coin? Have you sat down with them, befriended them, and have you just talked with them? In our world today, and I don't want to sound like the guy that the way you solve problems is just over some coffee and tea, but there's a lot to be said about shutting your mouth, go and find the individual, sit down, have some fellowship with them, find out where they're coming from. I think if we did that more, we'd have a whole lot less. Yeah. We'd have less issues today.
Right. If you haven't heard from somebody, call them, ask them how they're doing.
Yeah.
I have people that ask me every day, how are you doing today? Yeah, and they mean it too. Right. Not everything that we do is overbearing and things like that. I also find that sometimes people will utilize the serenity prayer to avoid doing work.
How so?
Such as, grant me the strength to accept the things I cannot change. And then they'll whine that nobody is asking them to sponsor them when they passed up 10, 12 chances to sponsor someone, but they didn't want to, then we determined willingness and this other stuff. Stop doing that. Show respect. Don't determine people's willingness, and do the best that you can.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things I appreciate about some of the guys that are in a district service work, in like our area,
DSR, DSM.
Yeah. Is they'll go around to the individual meetings and introduce themselves and say, hey, we're having a phone marathon next week, or we're having, such and such a meeting's kind of hurting right now. They could use your support. We're having a dance coming up over on the coast and blah, blah, blah. Instead of just sitting behind their own desk and staying in their own home group, they're going around, visiting people and introducing themselves. I mean, I can't tell you how many years I was in my 12-step fellowship. I didn't know who my district rep was or my area service rep, or I didn't know any of those guys, right?
I only know because I'm on the CPC committee. Otherwise
you wouldn't know. Yeah. So I appreciate it.
For anybody that doesn't know, it's the professional community and professional committee. We go out and tell businesses and stuff what AA is about. So
one guy,
we're very big on saying, we do not speak for AA as a whole.
Right.
It's we are required to say that.
Yeah. The literature rep for the literature rep for our area goes around and, do you need anything? Is there any
Those are the people I love, man. They love going out and helping people.
Right.
Yeah, the people that do DSM and literature, these other ones. I love those people, man, because they're helping so many people.
There was a guy that came into my home group. He was hurting, and it wasn't because he was drinking or anything. His wife was really sick. She was out in the car with their dog. They had a little camper, and he just came walking in. He thought it was the food bank at the church that we were at. But there's a food bank there, but that wasn't the day for it. And the GSR of the meeting stopped the meeting and said, "Hey, listen, man, if you stick around or if you tell us where you're at, I'll bet you we can get a bunch of us together here and we can come help you." And so he did. He went, his wife was sick. He went out in his car and he waited, and everybody got together. They pulled their finances together and we took them shopping. You know what I mean?
You go. That's an AA meeting for you.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Right. And some people say, well, that's an outside issue. Not in our group.
But we're allowed to deal with outside issues. We're supposed to.
Well, yeah.
We have no opinion on them.
Well, and all throughout the book, it's talking about being of service to other people, getting out of yourself. It doesn't say just in the fellowship. I mean, oh my gosh. Are you serious?
God in the world around you. What about your kids, your grandkids, the people you work with, your neighbors, your church folk, the guy that you see every other day because you're at the grocery store? What about those people?
Right. Yeah. Right. So one of the things I love that the CEO of Came to Believe is really, really big on, and he was here in the studio for 2 days. We were taping 20 podcasts for Came to Believe Recovery. And so we made a couple trips to Starbucks because that's his favorite coffee place, right? And his statement before we went, he said, "Let's go spread some sunshine. Let's go spread some sunshine."
Yeah.
And he'll go up to the person behind the register and say, "Hey," Roger's got a Starbucks. He'll say, "Hey, do you like working here? Hey, how's your day going?" And he really is interested. Yeah. And they'll strike up a conversation, And what happened while they were here? We were talking. I said, "What is that cake behind the cake?" It was the weirdest looking cake. It had like purple frosting and green swirls in it. And by the time we got done talking, what do you call the coffee person? The
barista.
The barista had cut up a bunch of pieces of cake and said, "You guys don't have to buy this. Here, I want to give you some." And we all sat there and ate these little pieces of cake and had our coffee. Yeah, there was an interaction going on. We were serving one another. Those are the things that I didn't do when I was out using and drinking. I wanted you to service me. No pun intended.
Use your, if you're a recovered alcoholic who's done the work, use your intuition. If you know somebody needs some help or maybe needs a good day, try and be kind. Since I was 17, I and this was so I could be a little bit more extroverted, but I still do it today. And what it is a challenge. And what you do is you make one person a day laugh. So not big, not huge, but there's one rule. It can never be the same person twice. So once you get through your family and your friends and the low-hanging fruit, you're going to have to make the barista laugh. You're going to have to get out of yourself, out of your comfort zone. When I go somewhere and I leave, I tell them, "Thank you for being here so I could get what I needed." You'll be amazed what happens with it. They're like, "Sure, you are welcome."
Yeah.
Yeah. Be nice to people.
Yeah. You know what will really blow them away is when, a lot of times they're wearing a name tag that says their name. And you say their name, they forget they had a name tag on and they light up because they're like, "How do you know my name?" They like it, right? It's like, "Thank you, Janice." How do you, oh yeah, I'm Janice. Well, I'm not Janice. I'm Monty, but Roger's Janice.
Janice.
Hey, listen, before we go to our closing song, which is an awesome song, I can't wait to play it. Justin, it was great meeting you, buddy. I hope we do get to meet face to face. Okay, The closing song is by the late, great Larry Norman. The title of the King of Christian Rock was not a title that he liked. Larry, I love Larry Norman because Larry was kind of gruff and very overly opinionated, just like me. He didn't like being credited as, the king or creator of Christian rock. But he earned that title anyway. And one of the reasons is because of this song, and because we did talk about God and the devil last week. This song is titled, "Why Should the Devil Have All the Good Music?" Here's Larry Norman.
1, 2, 3. I want the people to know that he saved my soul, but I still like to listen to the radio. They say rock and roll is wrong, we'll give you one more chance. I say it feels so good, I gotta get up and dance. I know what's right, I know what's wrong, I don't confuse it. All I'm really trying to say is why should the devil have all the good music? And I feel good every day, because Jesus is the rock and he rolled my blues away. They say to cut my hair, they're driving me insane. I blew it out long to make room for my brain, but sometimes people don't understand what's a good boy doing in a rock and roll band. There's nothing wrong with playing blues lit, but if you got a reason, tell me to my face. Why should the devil have all the good music? There's nothing wrong with what I play. Ah, Jesus is the rock and he rolled my blues away. All knocking the hymns, just give me a song that has a beat. I ain't knocking the hymns, just give me a song that moves my feet. I don't like none of those funeral marches. I ain't dead yet. Jesus told the truth and Jesus showed the way. There's one more thing I'd like to say. They nailed him to the cross and they laid him in the ground, but you should have known you can't keep a good man down. I feel good every day, I don't want to lose it. All I wanna know, why should the devil have all the good music? I've been filled, I feel okay. Jesus is the rock and roll my blues. Jesus is the rock and roll my blues. Jesus is the rock and roll my blues away.
Mr. Larry Norman, "Why Should the Devil Have All the Good Music?" Hey, listen, a very special thank you to our co-host, Roger McDermott. Congratulations to Dion Miller for his sober time and amazing service work that he gives himself away every single day. And Justin, congratulations on your sober time as well. Keep it going, buddy. Until our next broadcast, this is the Monty Man, along with the rest of the Take 12 Recovery Radio family, and we are wishing God's perfect serenity for you.
Don't let the weights of the past keep you down. There's a melody here to turn it around. In each story and song you'll find a friend, a chorus of courage that'll never end.
This has been a broadcast of Take 12 Recovery Radio and KHLT Recovery Broadcasting.
This has been a Chicken and a Pig production.